Welcome to ECN Trade Daily Video. Before we begin, it should be noted that any advice is of a general nature only and that your personal circumstances have not been taken into consideration. Hello everyone, my name is Rob Clayton and thank you very much for joining me. To open today's webinar, the Australian dollar still remains capped beneath that 75.0510 resistance, with the RBA's announcement yesterday unchanged. Now looks for a further weakness for the Australian dollar to move away from that level of 75.10 to look towards a minor support at 74.30 and lower, with a break of 73.80 exposing the last week's lows of 73.10 and reassess from there. In the event we get a break above 75.10, this would give further scope up towards 75.65, 75, but unlikely to sustain, and may give opportunity for the bears to return and see a very sharp decline as we saw 6 days ago, where the market fell heavily from 75 down towards that 73.70 level. In the report, I mentioned that the ECB will be releasing its rate decision at 11:45 tonight. With the recent bullish move that we saw from the prior day, the bulls were absent overnight and now hesitating towards that resistance of 107.80 to 108.20. In light of the current pattern being now out of an oversold situation, or looking at the US dollar index overbought, is now been negated, looks for further weakness away from 108.20 and down towards 106.80 and lower towards 106.10 and maybe towards 105.35, 45 and reassess from there. In the unlikely event that we do get a break above 108.20, this would give further scope for stops to be squeezed towards 108.65, 75 to 109.40, but at this stage I don't have that view. Dollar yen still struggling towards that top side resistance of 114.70, and in light of the current resistance holding, I do expect to see a further weakness towards 113.40 and then towards 112.65.70. From there, I expect to see a recovery back up towards 114 to 116. However, if we get a break under 112.65, then this would give further scope down towards 110.80 before any turnaround. And with the technicals in play here, I do expect to see the market to be softer today. Sterling not as strong after the rejection of that resistance of 127.65.75 overnight. Now looks towards 126.40 as a potential target, and if breached would expose further weakness towards 125.60 to 124.70 and reassess from there. In light of the current technical pattern, it is weak, and I do expect to see any regain or any potential claim towards that 127.65.75 level to fail again. Gold pretty much unchanged and still looking towards the support, which comes in roughly around 11.50.60. Now, as you can see here overnight, that the market did have a brief challenge towards that level and rejected and went from the 11.50.55 level back up towards 11.76. Now, from the current pattern, I'm still looking for a further down test, and if we do get a break under 11.50, that will give further exposure towards a $100 drop to 10.50. So a big level at 11.50. However, as I mentioned, the bulls should continue to defend this level, and if we do get a recovery today, a move above 77.83 would see potentially a climb towards 11.90 and reassess from there. And to wrap up with oil, the market is still pretty much holding beneath that 52.60 level after 2 days of absence from the bulls. In light of the current pattern, I do expect to see one more challenge towards the top side, and if we do get a break above 52.60, then this will give further scope up towards $55 as a potential objective. As I say, if the market fails to take out 52.60, then a decline would be warranted towards 49.20, and a break underneath there gives further scope towards 47.50 to 46.50. Well, that concludes my daily video. Thank you very much for joining me, but always you can get further information from ECN's intraday report that will be released very shortly.